All right, so as part of our contingency of people who have talked about the Vic Mignogna saga, I went on Twitter about maybe 3 hours ago, and I found out my account had been locked. Um, After getting the code, they unlocked it, told me that I need to comply with the site rules, and I went and looked at a couple. I went and viewed rather a couple of videos from other people where they were talking about how Jamie Marchi is supposedly using her connections to screw with people that oppose her on Twitter, which I have to say they're granted more credibility by the fact that I have previously talked about politicians any kind of way I wanted with no recourse whatsoever. But when you talk about this individual who wants you to believe her allegations, that has spent the last week uh, giving hours long responses to various anonymous users. I guess it makes a lot of sense. Just that was another one of those things where people oftentimes have theories like, oh, I don't think that's true, but because of that, I'm a lot more likely to believe it. So I probably won't discuss. If I do talk about that situation, it won't be on there anymore. I don't really have the patience for that kind of stuff. But she apparently does. That's why she spends hours every day arguing back and forth with random people. So she can continue to do that, loser. Um, in other news, Barr was confirmed as Attorney General. He was the favorite of three traitorous Democrats: Manchin, of course, Jones, and Sinema. I swear, I keep thinking about that one time that person left that comment acting dumb as to why I would say that Sinema was the lesser of two evils. And that's, even after I'd mentioned my reason for saying that was because she votes with Trump over 60% of the time. Even said that her hero would be Manchin, who, rose to even further notoriety after being the only Democrat to vote for Kavanaugh. They don't get it. They really are not able to understand why I would be, so critical of these people when they vote the same way as the Republicans. What the hell's the difference? I have a little bit more respect for Rand, who I already thought was probably the best Republican in the Senate, which is still a low bar, but nonetheless, because he voted against him, the only Republican too. So that's actual political courage when you buck your party. I actually had an individual a couple of weeks ago, or I think last week, who said upon me reading this headline, "Let's see if he actually does it." I don't know why he wouldn't, after announcing, but whatever. People just they don't think critically. So that's another story. I guess the other event that happened was also, right, they talked a little bit about the Green New Deal in the Senate. And it's just like you would expect when the Republicans are there. They go, "Oh, we could never have this. This is so bad. It could never work." Blah 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 blah. And then if it's Democrats, for the most part, if they're like the quote unquote moderate wing, they go, "Oh yeah, I don't like what's going on with climate change. We need to change this." So they try to do a little middleman half road kind of crap of pretending to be on one side and trying to cater to the other. We can't just take a stand. And then people get confused, and I call them cowards and say that they don't know how to affirmatively place themselves anywhere, which is sad because, again, for as bad as Republicans are, more often than not, they will take a stand on certain issues. You won't see any of the Republicans go, "I don't want to lose the the Democrats in this race, so I'm going to say that I won't repeal Obamacare." No, they'll all come out and say, I want to get rid of this. I want it to go, yada yada yada. So that's another part of the mythos that is allowed to just fester and go on. That you're going to somehow lose moderates if you do things that are not in line with a series of proposals, which again is not true. But we've been over this before. The Parkland anniversary, people are calling for more gun control. I wish they would do it all year long. I just hate how every time there's an anniversary, there's this weird push to now suddenly give a crap about what happened when all the days in between, you just stop talking about it. Like if I think about stories related to Parkland, the actual event, not the people who kind of became famous off of their involvement in it, uh, they probably stopped talking about that shooting and relating it as a matter of motive for why they're pushing for more gun control, probably within a week after it happened. It's the same thing with Vegas. When Vegas happened and all, the deadliest shooting by a single gunman, I really thought, oh my God, people are going to be enraged. These, 500 people got injured, 50, 55, 56 were murdered. Oh, we definitely are going to see something happen now. As far as the Democrats being serious about it, they just didn't do it. So it always is leading up to, it's just red herring. People get murdered left and right, and we just go back to acting like nothing happened. And there's even like a small group that of people that just actually do believe there should be no more laws. Just keep it the way it is. Mass shootings every day, and all the media can talk about is a wall and pretend nothing else is going on. What a wonderful topic. I do like that I got banned. I got what do you call it, locked, or had account recourse taken on Valentine's Day. That's Twitter's little love thing to me, because I've maintained that I think Twitter is actually the weakest social media website out of probably any of them. So I think YouTube's way better. I think Instagram is marginally better, and Facebook is probably around that same kind of tier as Instagram, where you at least have no character limit as far as what you can write. Because when I look at some of the stuff people write on Twitter, and then they make a little thread of, I said this and this person said that, like, why can't you just post it on some other website in full? Why do you have to, let me take a little bit of this, respond to that, a little bit of this, respond to that, a little bit of this, respond to that. Just like with the Vic Mignogna thing, there was a person who accused him of, I guess, touching her when she was in high school in 89 or 88, one of those 2 years. And the only thing she had to prove that many of her claims was a picture of him or a newspaper that had him listed as one of the people who was performing there. But again, no, just more word of mouth. So that's all they know how to do. It's just, oh, this person did this. Oh, you want proof? You're a sexist. You're part of the patriarchy. Ha 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 ha. They really think if they just keep yelling that out, it's gonna change something. I find it kind of comical that the same people who are believing his accusers with no proof are the same ones who were casting doubt on Jamie's accuser, who Twitter shadow banned. With absolutely no kind of, just automatically they went, no, that couldn't have happened. So that's comedic. That they're going to, pick and choose who gets to be believed and whatnot, even though it's the same thing of an unsubstantiated claim being made against a public figure. They're both doing the same thing, just one's way more famous than the other one. So I think I've discussed everything that's currently happened. Barr's record is kind of but Democrats, people that vote for them anyway, don't see a problem with the individuals they elect. I mean, I still don't know what it's going to take to get people to wear off from the Trump derangement syndrome to realize that if you have 3 members of your party in the higher chamber of Congress, so the Senate, who consistently and recurringly vote for the Republicans whenever they're proposing, and you supposedly don't like the Republicans, they are not meeting your interest. Again, the interest that you espoused. And the media does this really annoying thing where it pretends that whenever Democrats and Republicans vote for the same thing, that supposedly automatically makes it good. They oftentimes will vote for wars, anti-bank deregulations that let these rich people get away with putting their cash in an offshore bank account. And the media goes, "Oh my God, it's so wonderful. The two parties are working together." No, it's quite the opposite. But they don't think critically about this stuff. And they also want the public to think critically, which is why they sit here and talk about one story all day, as if nothing else is going on in the world. Hell, we just had this Yemen bill, and I can't even get excited about that because they've watered it down so much, from what I've read. And also, you still have a bunch of Republicans who are going, "Why would we invoke the War Powers Resolution if we personally don't feel as if we are violating It's a war crime to be over there, even though this war was not authorized by Congress, which inadvertently makes it a war crime. But whatever, it's cool. Critical thinking skills, man, they are not there. Even members of Congress, every time I hear a good chunk of the pro-war ones talk, all I can picture is just a bunch of dollars scrubbing against each other. The defense contractors, all up in their ear like that, repeating that nonsense and espousing stupidity. So it's been a hell of a day. I can't believe I actually had the first offense ever come from opposing an actor making unsubstantiated claims about another one. Because when you want to go on there and you want to say this politician is terrible, yada yada, they won't mess with you, which is good. But you got to have consistency. And that theory that she's using her connections with the higher ups to screw with people, I believe it entirely now. So that's the enemy talking about that on there. I'm going to take it over here. It's kind of sad that we have to hip hop, or rather hop between websites to talk about something without feeling any censorship. So, for example, if you wanted to show some screenshots of what's going on, sometimes people will say, "Oh, that's copyright," even though it's a public post. One person ended up having to do that at one point. It's just they're going out of their way to make sure you don't get the full story relating to this stuff. So they don't care. And I'm reminded of the Alex Jones situation where people were happy that he was the platform because, like I said, no. Standing up for him being able to stay on these websites is not about liking him at all. It's about the idea that there's always going to be someone that someone does not like. And if that person is not liked by someone in the position of power on a website, and that is their motive for getting rid of them, that's the problem. Because they don't give specific rules and guidelines for which they're going to come after you for. For example, on Twitter, they didn't say anything about you can't speak out against accusations that are being made. They never said that, and then they still screwed with me. So these websites are finicky. YouTube, again, I think is still a way better outlet to just go on. And I think if they put up more kind of like blog activity so you can post on your account, if that feature was more nuanced and they did more to improve it or make it a regular part of the site experience, I think they could compete competitively with Twitter. And then Twitter would have to realize that it has to change its policies to better be inclusive of diverse thought, because if you don't go along with one of their narratives, it really does seem like they will just crack you down. That's always the first one to do it. They did to Jones. They did to what's her name, Laura Loomer. They don't care. They'll mess with you. So thank you for watching. Have a good day. Happy Valentine's Day.